Just said.
About 100 days ago, I've realized something. Almost every piece of technology I use every single day is made by Apple. My iPhone, my MacBook, my iPad, my Apple Watch, my AirPods. And somehow, without really planning it, I built pretty much my entire digital life around one company. At first, I didn't really think much of it. I just liked Apple products. And if I needed a laptop, I bought a MacBook. If I wanted a tablet, I bought an iPad. If I wanted a smartwatch, I got an Apple Watch. And individually, those decisions didn't seem like a big deal. But after spending the last 100 days properly living inside Apple's ecosystem, I've realized why people say once you're in, it's ridiculously difficult to leave. And strangely, I don't think that's because Apple necessarily makes the best versions of every single product. It's because of what happens when you start putting all of those products together. So for the last 100 days, I've been paying attention to all of those little moments where the ecosystem actually changes the way I work. The things I love, the things that annoy me, and most importantly, whether I could actually leave Apple now if I wanted to. And guys, if you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to subscribe as I'll be posting more content soon. Right, let's get back to the video. Let's start with probably the most obvious one, AirDrop. And I know AirDrop isn't exactly exciting anymore. We've had it for years. But I genuinely don't think I realized how dependent I've become on it until I started paying attention. If I take a photo on my iPhone that I need for a thumbnail, AirDrop. If I film something on my phone and I need it on my MacBook, AirDrop. If there's something on my iPad that I want somewhere else, AirDrop. I don't think about where the file needs to go. I just press one button and a few seconds later, it's there. Obviously, there are plenty of other ways of doing this. I could use Google Drive, I could use Dropbox, I could connect a cable, I could even email something to myself like it's 2012. But that's the problem. Once you've spent months just pressing AirDrop, everything just suddenly feels like extra work. And that's something you're going to hear a lot throughout this video. Because I think the entire ecosystem is basically built around one thing, removing tiny bits of effort. Not huge things, tiny things. And individually, they don't sound particularly impressive, but when you use them every single day, that's when it starts getting dangerous. Because after AirDrop, there's Universal Clipboard. And this might genuinely be one of the most boring features in the world to explain to someone. I can copy something on my iPhone, pick up my MacBook, press paste, and it's there. That's it. That's the feature. But I use it constantly. I'll find a link on my phone, copy it, and paste it straight into something I'm working on my MacBook. Or I'll have some extra text on my MacBook, copy it, pick up my iPad, paste. I don't send anything to myself. I don't open another app. Half the time, I don't even consciously realize I'm doing it anymore. And I think that's when I started understanding why the ecosystem works so well. My Apple products don't really feel like completely separate devices anymore. They almost feel like different screens attached to the same thing. And then there's handoff. Again, it's one of those features that doesn't sound particularly exciting until you actually start using it. I can start doing something on one device and continue somewhere else. Maybe I'm looking at something on my iPhone and then decide I want a bigger screen. I move over to the Mac and carry on. And none of these things individually would make me stay with Apple. If Apple removed Universal Clipboard tomorrow, I'm throwing away my MacBook in the bin. But when you combine AirDrop, Universal Clipboard, Handoff, and everything else, you start building a workflow around them. And once you've built the workflow, that's where leaving becomes difficult. Because you're not just replacing a device anymore, you're replacing habits. And I think Apple knows that. The Apple Watch is probably where I noticed this the most. Because on its own, it's just a smartwatch. But once it's connected to my iPhone, it becomes an extension of it. My notifications come through. I can answer calls, use Apple Pay, control music, track workout, set timers, check things quickly without consistently pulling my phone out. But then the watch starts interacting with other Apple products too. I sit down at my Mac and my Apple Watch unlocks it. It's such a small thing. Typing my password would take 3 seconds, but I've become so used to my Mac unlocking automatically that when it doesn't happen, I'm actually annoyed, which is ridiculous. 3 seconds. But that's exactly how Apple gets you. It takes something you never considered inconvenient, makes it slightly more convenient, and then suddenly you don't want to go back. And that's where I started thinking, what would actually happen if I switched my phone? Let's say tomorrow Samsung releases something amazing, and I decided, right, I'm going back to Android. Cool. Then what happens to my Apple Watch? Suddenly my decision isn't just do I prefer Samsung phone to my iPhone, it's do I prefer it enough that I'm also willing to change the watch I wear every single day. And then I start thinking about everything else. That's when one product decision suddenly becomes an ecosystem decision. AirPods are another perfect example. You absolutely do not need an iPhone to use AirPods. They're Bluetooth headphones. But once again, they're just nicer inside Apple ecosystem. Pair them once and they're available across your Apple devices. I'm working on my MacBook, then I move to my phone, then maybe an iPad, and for the most part, they follow me around. Is it perfect for every single time? No. There have definitely been moments where my AirPods decided they're more interested in a completely different device, and I'm still sitting there wondering what on earth they're doing. But most of the time, it works. And after 100 days, I've realized something. Apple isn't necessarily locking me in with huge features. They're locking me in with convenience. And convenience is really difficult to give up. Then we get to my iPads. And I think these are interesting because they're probably the Apple products I technically need the least. I've already got an iPhone. I've already got a MacBook. So logically, what exactly is the iPad doing? And yet, I use one all the time, especially the iPad mini. It's become this weird little device that sits somewhere between my phone and my laptop. And if I don't want to sit at a desk, but I also don't want to do something on my phone, I grab the mini. Reading, watching content, taking notes, researching, quick bits of work, planning things. It's not replacing my MacBook, it's not replacing my phone. It just fills this little gap between them. And because everything is already connected, there's basically no setup involved. My notes are there, my files are there, my photos are there, my passwords are there. Everything follows me. And I think this is another reason Apple products become so easy to buy once you're already in the ecosystem. Because buying another Apple product doesn't feel like adding another completely separate device. It feels like adding another window into everything you already have. The iPad Pro takes that even further. One feature I really like is Sidecar. If I'm working on my MacBook and I want some extra screen space, my iPad can become a second display. No separate monitor, no weird software, no complicated setup. I can just use the iPad that's already sitting there. Again, is Sidecar alone a reason to spend hundreds on the iPad? Obviously not, but if you already own one, it's another reason to keep it. And that's the clever bit. Every Apple product seems to make the other one slightly more useful. The iPhone makes the watch better, the Mac makes the iPad more useful, AirPods work across everything, iCloud connects everything, and the more devices you add, the stronger the ecosystem becomes. But I think there's a downside to all of this, and I started noticing it more as these 100 days went on. Sometimes the ecosystem makes you feel like you need another Apple product when you probably do not. You buy an iPhone, then an Apple Watch starts making sense. Then you got a MacBook, and suddenly an iPad looks quite useful. Then you get AirPods because they work nicely with everything. And before you know it, your desk looks like an Apple store. And I'm definitely guilty of this because when a new Apple product comes out, I'm not only thinking, is this product good? I'm thinking, how would this fit with everything I already own? That's a very different question. And it's incredibly good business for Apple because they've made the value of each product partly dependent on the other products. But after 100 days, I wanted to think about the opposite. What if I actually tried to leave? Not physically sell everything tomorrow, but just think through what I'd need to replace. Let's start with the MacBook. There are loads of brilliant Windows laptops. Some have better displays, some have more ports, some might even offer better value. So technically, switching laptops shouldn't be difficult. But then I started thinking about my workflow. AirDrop disappears, Universal Clipboard disappears, Sidecar disappears, some of my handoff workflow disappears, my Apple Watch isn't unlocking it. Suddenly, I'm not comparing the MacBook against another laptop, I'm comparing the entire experience surrounding the MacBook. And that's where it gets difficult. Then let's say I replace my phone instead. Again, there are incredible Android phones, but now my Apple Watch becomes an issue. AirDrop changes, the way everything syncs changes. My AirPods will still work, but some of the convenience disappears. And suddenly replacing one rectangle in my pocket has affected 4 other devices. That's when I realized I'm actually trapped. But here's the weird part. I don't necessarily mean that negatively. Because being trapped usually sounds horrible, like Apple has somehow forced me into this. They haven't. I could leave tomorrow. Nothing is physically stopping me. The problem is they've made staying so convenient that I don't really have a reason to leave. And I think that's much more powerful. Of course, the ecosystem isn't perfect, and over 100 days I've definitely had moments where Apple's famous "it just works" thing didn't work. AirDrop occasionally decided it can't see a device that's literally sitting right next to it. Handoff sometimes disappears when I actually want to use it. AirPods occasionally connect somewhere completely different from where I expected. iCloud can sometimes take its sweet time syncing something. And because I've become so used to everything working, those little features are somehow even more annoying. Because Apple has set the expectation so high, when everything works, you barely notice it. When one thing doesn't, you notice immediately. And I actually think that's an interesting problem Apple has created for itself. The better the ecosystem becomes, the less tolerance you have for it not working. But even with those little annoyances, after 100 days, I think the convenience massively outweighs them. Because ultimately, the ecosystem has changed how I work. Not in some dramatic, I've doubted my productivity way. It's much more subtle than that. It's removed little bits of friction throughout my day. Moving files takes seconds. Copying something between devices takes seconds. Turning my iPad into another screen takes seconds. Unlocking my Mac happens automatically. My photos appear everywhere. My notes appear everywhere. My passwords follow me. My AirPods follow me. And when you add all of those tiny moments together, you realize how much you've started relying on them. They're probably the biggest thing I've learned from these 100 days. Apple's ecosystem isn't impressive because of one killer feature. It's impressive because eventually you stop noticing the features at all. You just expect everything to be there, and I think that's also why leaving feels so hard. Imagine someone handed me a Windows laptop tomorrow, and let's say it's objectively better than my MacBook. Better display, more powerful, more ports, maybe even cheaper. A few years ago, I'd probably compare the specs and decide which laptop is better. Now, one of my first thoughts would be, but how is this going to work with my phone? And that's when Apple's already won, because I'm no longer choosing between two laptops. I'm choosing between one laptop and everything else I own. So after 100 days, do I regret getting this deep into Apple's ecosystem? No, I really don't. Because for the way I work, it genuinely makes my life easier. I film things on my iPhone, move them to my Mac, I edit there. I use my iPad when I want something smaller. I wear my Apple Watch every day. I use my AirPods across everything. And I don't want to spend my day thinking about how all of the devices communicate. I just want them to work. And most of the time, they do. But do I feel trapped? Yeah, kinda, a little bit. Because if I decided tomorrow that I was completely done with Apple, I genuinely do not know which product I'd replace first. Changing one thing affects another, and changing that affects something else. It's basically a very expensive game of Jenga. Maybe that's the real genius of Apple ecosystem. Apple doesn't make it impossible to leave, they just make staying ridiculously easy. And after spending 100 days properly living inside it, I finally understand why so many people never leave. The ecosystem isn't perfect. Apple doesn't make the best versions of absolutely everything. And you definitely do not need to buy Apple products just because you own an iPhone. But once you've built a setup that works for you, all those devices start quietly working together in the background. Giving that up becomes surprisingly hard. So am I trapped? Probably. Am I planning my escape? Nah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.